Hello, everyone, and you are listening and watching Tune to the Tracks. This is Flobo Boys, and I want to thank you so much for coming into our space where we talk to the movers and shakers in the music industry. Now, if you are an artist yourself, if you're someone that has a new song or a new album, you want to have a little bit of a talk to amplify your voice, this is the place to do it. Tune to the Tracks will be a brand new, innovative show where you get to sit and chat and get into the inner workings as you as an artist. In just a second, I'll be having my talk with Miss Rebecca Potts. This is going to be a fantastic interview, but I also want to say I want to thank you. Other creatives like you are right now, other artist members like you are right now, is what makes this show possible. Now, before I do, my guest today is originally from Pennsylvania, which she calls California her home. It's going to be a fantastic interview with Miss Rebecca Potts. Stay tuned. I don't know if I've seen you on Netflix's Sing On or heard your new song, but I am floored, Miss Potts, for what you're doing in the music industry. Thanks for being on the show this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, well, you sound fantastic, but I have to ask you, where did the singing bug come from? Did it happen one day, one fateful day, or it was always in your life?
Well, I think the day that it happened was the day I was born. And I remember my mom telling me that I used to sing Bryan Adams songs in their entirety when I was 2 in the car, in the back seat. And she was like, does she know those words? Is that? Yeah. And I knew the words. I was like singing the whole song. I've been singing ever since I could talk. So it's just something that's always been with me. That's
great, because I like Bryan Adams too, but I have no voice to speak of. My singing voice is terrible. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, I saw you on an episode of Sing On from Netflix, and that has to be a crazy experience, being on a stage and performing for that. Can you walk us through that a bit?
Yeah, it was incredible. I got to do it just before the pandemic hit, so I got to go to London and film it, and it was so cool to be at Pinewood Studios. You know, they filmed like Indiana Jones there, Maleficent, a bunch of really blockbuster films. So just walking those halls was like incredible. And then singing on the stage, that was like next level. So it was really, really an amazing experience. I wouldn't change anything about it. Yeah.
So walk me through this. You get the phone call and someone says, come across the planet to sing. I mean, what?
Yeah. So I actually, when I was auditioning for it, I've been trying to get on like all these singing shows and stuff because I just want to sing, it's just what I love to do. So I'm trying to get on all these singing shows and stuff. And finally, someone reached out to me and was like, hey, you've been trying to do this. Do you want to try for this show? And I was like, yeah, there I am. And we went through quite a few rounds, and by the end of it, I was just like floored that I actually got on it, because I'd been through rounds with other shows and things, and it never happens. And I'm like, okay, don't get your hopes up and everything, but like when this one actually happened, it was like a dream come true.
Right, and you've began to sing before and after that as well. You actually recently appeared, I can't believe this, but you sang the national anthem for a Philadelphia Eagles game?
Yeah, their last one of the season.
Yeah.
So I was their closer. I was their season closer.
The main event.
I wish they would have gone further.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool.
Were you an Eagles fan growing up too? Because it says you're from Pennsylvania. Are you an Eagles fan? So it has to be the total full circle moment for you.
Definitely. And I used to go to the games with my dad all the time when I was little, and he would always say to me, you've got to sing the national anthem someday. That's going to be you someday. And I was like, too big of a dream. And then it was me.
On national television.
So it was so cool.
I guess being able to be that kind of individual to perform must be in your blood. It says here also that you were formerly a Miss California sweetheart. As somebody who's cantankerous, what does it mean to be a sweetheart, especially here in California?
Yeah, so Miss California Sweetheart is kind of very similar to Miss America.
Okay.
So it's the same kind of vein, and they usually, what used to happen is all the first runner-ups from the Miss America system used to go to the Sweetheart pageant. So a couple of years ago, they opened it up to people who maybe didn't quite get first runner-up, which was me. So I applied, and I was chosen from California, and I got to go to Illinois and nationally compete, and I won first runner-up there.
Wow.
So it was really awesome.
You've already lived like 4 lifetimes. That's amazing. That's amazing.
I know.
But I want to talk to you about your new single. It's called Like Home. And then right now, we're actually going to play a clip of it. But before we do, just walk me through the inspiration of this track.
Well, the inspiration is my husband. I've been married for a couple of years now, and thank you. We met in Costa Rica. We were both on a solo vacation.
Really?
And we ended up in the same tour group. Yeah, it was total fate.
Yeah.
So we dated long distance for a year, and then I packed up and moved to California from Pennsylvania, and this song is that story. It's our story.
As someone who's actually been to Costa Rica, that is a beautiful place to fall in love, I tell you.
It is.
But without further ado, this is Like Home.
I remember your touch, your open heart, the way you held my hand that night while the rain poured from the stars and we were terrified, but we had to try, and so you promised we'd be back again while tears poured from my eyes.
Well, I am not a songwriter, but I can imagine the process of writing your feelings on the page and performing that out there. Walk me through that feeling.
It's incredibly cathartic. I'm a mental health advocate, and I'm very open about the fact that I go to therapy and the fact that, I've dealt with depression and anxiety for most of my life, and this is such an outlet for me just to write my feelings. My therapist is always telling me, journal, and I'm like, I don't want to write it down. I want to be creative with it, I want to do something different, so this is what I've chosen to do. And sometimes it pours out of me really easily, and this was one of those songs that just really poured out of me very easily because there's so much, love and passion for my husband. And sometimes, it takes a little longer. Well,
what about someone who's maybe an artist in their own right, but is struggling with feelings of anxiety, or even worse, the imposter syndrome, where they feel they're not worthy of their talent? I mean, is there any advice for them?
Yeah, I would say I was there. I was absolutely that person years ago, and even as recently as last year, I started playing the piano, and I learned the piano so I could create this track. And I thought there were so many times when I wanted to give up and say, this is not gonna work. I don't have what it takes to do this. I'm just not. It's not working for me. But every single step I took got me further towards where I wanted to be. And this was my dream. Where I am right now, just doing this was my dream 5 years ago. And I'm there. And you can be there too. You just have to keep going. You can't give up.
And you are carrying on. What does the rest of the year look like for Miss Rebecca Potts?
Well, I have some new music coming up. Okay. I'm looking into creating a song that I wrote for my sister, and then a Christmas song as well. So this song took me quite a while to do because I'm doing it with a GarageBand just in my house. I do it by myself. So I'm learning the ropes and everything, and I'm still, I'm giving myself space to enjoy everything around me as well, and hopefully get out into the world someday this year. So that's my goal. I want to have 2 new songs, and then I have a couple films coming up too. So there's a couple different things going on in my world, and I'm excited.
DIY, just do it yourself if you can.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you'll be doing a live rendition of Like Home for us here on T4, and that's coming up right now.
I remember your touch, your open heart, the way you held my hand that night while the rain poured from the stars and we were terrified, but we had to try, and so you promised we'd be back again while tears poured from my eyes. So kiss me, touch me, I wanna feel it again. My knees feel weak when you're holding my hand, and you're not that far from taking all of my heart. we flew the months apart. No matter how long, you always led me back to your heart. And after all this time, you're still the one I want. Our love lights up the whole sky. We've conquered the longest shot. So kiss me, touch me, I wanna feel it again. My knees feel weak when you're holding my hand, and you're not that far from taking all of my heart. Don't let this go. You feel like home. And that night you left in anger. We were ready to give up, but you fought the grief and came back to me and said it's time to heal this love. So kiss me, touch me, I wanna feel it again. Your heart won't break, it's in my hands. So kiss me, touch me, I wanna feel it again. My knees feel weak when you're holding my hand, and you're not that far from taking all of my heart. Don't let this go. You feel like home. And we've come so far. You've taken all of my heart. Don't let this go.
Wow. Like home, Rebecca Potts. If anyone wanted to follow you online to keep up with you and your music, how would they do so?
Yeah, you can find me on iTunes, Spotify, on Instagram at Rebecca Potts 2309. But if you search my name, Rebecca Potts, and Like Home, you'll find me wherever music is sold.
And that's what they should do. This is Tune to the Tracks, and my name is Flobo Boys. And until next time, live life with the volume turned up.